Purge is like looking all around the house. It's kind of like waiting for her to like to see him like looking at all the things.
I think there'd be a jump scare in both of them because of CCTV footage, so you probably see like someone in a mask, like the villain, like jump to like the camera and in Scream as well because of like the high pitch popping sound. So you feel like it's just going to be like a big bang and then
the popcorn.
it's going to turn around.
Yeah, it's like popcorn. It's like a metaphor for the situation itself. So, would these openings intrigue you and make you want to watch the rest of the films?
I think so, because you kind of, especially in the Purge, because I like how you get a sense of all this violence and you kind of want to know what the film's about after it.
Yeah, why the violence is occurring.
Yeah, I agree with the Purge is quite interesting, but I like the Scream opening as well because like you want to see what happens. Like you don't really know who the boy is or where he is, but it kind of makes you want to watch on it, see what else could go on throughout the film.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think like with both of them, you kind of just want to see the outcome of the situation.
I feel in Scream it's quite normal at the start, so it kind of engages you into what's going to happen because the mystery of him being on the end of the phone, and also in the Purge it's quite just like fast cutting, so you kind of want to see like scenes of the different like
Slow
violence.
shots, yeah. Was the use of sound and the lack of use of sound add to your feeling of anxiety in both films? The character's voice in Scream and the lack of sound in The Purge because it's on the CCTV camera.
So, the character's voice in Scream when it's on the phone, it's very. I think although it's like they're just chatting, I think his tone of voice really creates like a mysterious feeling because he's kind of just like trying to get to know her in a really weird way. So, creepy.
Like very creepy, low voice. You'd expect a criminal, or in a horror movie, you'd expect the killer to be male, especially as it was made in 1990.
I think like the sound in Scream, like obviously the man's voice is quite like threatening, and I think also like the popcorn, it kind of like exaggerates it, and then because like there's quite like a contrast between like how hectic the scene is in The Purge, and then when it's silent, it kind of like it's quite like confusing, and I think that makes it more scary.
I think in The Purge, because there isn't like any sounds in CCTV, it kind of engages you more into you want to hear like the sounds of what like the killer's saying or the character's saying.
If you were to change anything about the openings, what would you change and why? What would you do to improve it, and what else do you want to see?
I'd say. I think they're pretty good how they are. Maybe in Scream it could be built up like a bit slower. I don't know. I think they're alright.
I enjoyed both openings and I thought they were good, but I thought like maybe The Purge you could have maybe more link to one character or a group of characters instead of you don't really get to see anyone at all. It's just kind of thrown straight into like violence and you don't get to see anyone's face or get to know any characters.
Yeah, I think like with Scream it was like we wouldn't really change anything, but I think with The Purge maybe like I agree, kind of like going to a bit more slow and like kind of build it up a bit more rather than just like jumping in straight away.
Yeah, I think in Scream it's fine because like the absence of the soundtrack just makes it more like mysterious of what's going to happen.
Okay, do you like this type of horror in both of the films, and what would you expect to see in a horror film like these? Like, obviously, like just looking at the opening, what would you expect to see further on in the film, just from this genre?
Well, in Scream, just a murderer who murders a group of friends, and in The Purge, a lot of violence.
Yeah, so basically just like the same, like just like giving a brief of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like the characters that I expect to see, probably like younger people, like teens, maybe like young adults, and like like you said, a lot of violence, like maybe some gore, a lot of suspense as well. I'd expect a lot of suspense.
Yeah, I think like with Scream, I probably expect to see like kind of how it pans out, like if he actually like eventually does like come to like, her house or whatever, and then like with the Purge, probably just like more of kind of like individual characters like situation in the Purge.
Yeah, I think you'd probably expect to see like a serial killer that's like got a hidden identity, and then in the Purge, probably more like individual characters. Like
Yeah.
the act.
So, what do you feel makes any opening of a film great? Like, what do you feel as though an opening needs to have, and what do you feel as though an opening needs to have to make it great in this specific genre, being horror slasher?
I think you need. I think although the Purge don't introduce you to any characters, I think introduction to characters is good to make a good opening because you kind of get a connection with them. But in horror, it might not be the case because a lot of them get killed off.
In like most films, just in as a whole, like you'd always just like you'd probably see a couple characters, get to know them, kind of maybe like through dialogue or something, and then like you in horrors as well, and all films you kind of want to pull the audience in and get them interested in it, so like they want to watch on and finish the film.
I think like the most important thing is to like make it not suspense, but kind of just like intrigue the audience to like wanna find out what happens next. But like for a horror, I think it is probably to not fully scare them, but kind of like show what's
give them a
happen.
taster of what they're about to see. Yeah.
I think the most important part is probably introducing the characters into like an unfamiliar setting. So like, it gives the audience like an insight of how they feel to like something that's unfamiliar.
Okay. So overall, did you like the openings? Do you enjoy horrors?
Yeah, I think they're good.
Yeah, I enjoy horrors.